All right, it is just integrating now and loading. And here we are. So let's begin. Let me say good day to you all. All right, it is just integrating now and loading. And here we are. So let's begin. Let me say good day to you. Okay, so we'll begin with the affirmation. May I further enlarge our collective and individual understanding on the topics that we will cover, and may I not cause further divide. All right, so let's go ahead and begin. First thing I wanted to say, I just wanted to shout out the places that are offering holistic ingredients. No, this is not an advertisement, and no, I do not intend for it to be. Instead, remember, I have been promoting holistic lifestyle, and especially during the pandemic, especially as it relates to vaccinations. Yes, there is an application for the vaccination, as I've told you before, but I will always and forever be the person, the scientist at the doctoral level, the truth sayer, who will always tell you that you must take care of your holistic health, okay? It is top priority, even before traditional medicine, because at the end of the day, keep in mind, if you believe in a God, and you don't believe in holistic medicine, it's just a bit confusing because God's creation is holistic at its very, the name, the nomenclature that we've given it, it is what it is. And it trumps anything that is man-made because what? Because it was first created by God. And if we trust that our creator is smart in all things and kind of knows better than we do in all things, then why can't we trust that the apple and its nutrition is intentional, is purposeful? Why can we not trust that the sap in the tree is intentional and purposeful for holistic remedies? Why can't we trust that? This in no way, shape, form, because again, I am a scientist and I understand the application of our cognitive and intellectual capabilities, because we also attribute those to God. And the argument can be not equally, but similarly made that anything that we generally produce is in and of itself a part of God's creation as well. But we must remember the motive behind the creation, right? So if we're just producing the medicine just to make money, then that's not, like we all say, colloquially, there's no God in there. That's not, we can't attribute that to God. Is that what we're doing now? Let's not do that, right? But if you make a product and oh goodness, and it really does have more positive benefits than it does negative benefits. And I mean 90-10, not what we've been seeing here too much for decades and decades, where it's more like 50-50 chance. You'll have this long list of symptoms that we can treat, and these long lists of symptoms that will result after taking it. So the point I'm making here is that this is a chicken quesadilla from Qdoba, and they offer cauliflower. And I love that. I've just put my hair up. I know it's looking kind of, just go with it. Hold on, let me see what I can do real quick. Make it look a little bit less. Hold on. I was taking pictures earlier. All right, there we go. There we go, homies. All right, a little bit better, but it's staying up, okay? So if you're offended by my hair being up, you're gonna have to get back with me next week or something, because I'm not putting it down. I'm not. It's not going down today. Okay, so this is going down today, but my hair is staying up. on a Sunday. Okay, so, but cauliflower is a wonderful, 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 wonderful alternative. And I know some of you are gonna be like, she's smoking something. I'm not really familiar with all the drugs, so I'm just not smoking nothing. But it's a great alternative to steak. For instance, I have made grilled cauliflower steaks before, and they are tremendously delicious. I've made broccoli burgers as well. You just, you have to trust me, grill it on whatever your favorite grill is. I've got a Foreman. If you like the egg, I want an egg so badly, but that'll be something that I have to purchase when I return to house living. You know, we still live in an apartment flat or whatever. But yeah, the point I'm making here is that cauliflower, and it's just $1.50. Why would you to add it to you? It's everything. And it's not just the cauliflower. They have it perfectly seasoned. They've added peppers, and it's delightful. All right, so cheers to your health. And hopefully you take these tidbits when you're out and about and you're trying to figure out, well, you know, I do want to eat healthy. You know, I want to eat healthy, and I want to eat healthy while I'm out, right? So you can make these efforts, and these are the places where you can go. And actually, yeah, my hair is not behaving at all. These are the places that you can go. That'll have to do. There, boom. Okay, these are the places that you can go, and you can find wonderful, healthy, nutritious food while you're out and about. If you're, you know, commuting or whatever, it's a wonderful, wonderful alternative to a junk food option. Okay. All right. So let's move forward. Today, we're going to head, well, if I point this way and I point that way, we're going northwest. We're going to the state of Washington, not Washington, D.C., but the actual state. So no better time than to do it. Let's get to it. All right. So here we go. Let me share my screen. All right, here we go. So we're gonna go here. I'm gonna add. Sorry, I've got lots of things going on here. And you know, none of, I live a very open book lifestyle. So you'll notice that, of course, I've been working on my my personal for-profit endeavors earlier today. But let's move forward. All right, so we're headed over to Washington State. Okay. I'm going to add legislature. All righty. And of course, it comes right up. Easy does it. So the Washington State Legislature. I'm gonna be honest with you. I predict, because I just don't know, or I surmise rather than predict. And I hope that I'm not incorrect, but we have these inherent stereotypes on regional and they're based on regional aspects. So I would generally surmise that Washington is predominantly Caucasian as far as residents, and I would equally imagine that it is predominantly Republican. I'm not sure. That is not my intention to be prejudicial. These are just, facts that we can glean, or, likely factuals that we can glean from regional aspects. All right. So I am very interested in finding out what the dealio. Okay. And I hope you are as well. So let's go to their House of Representatives. And actually, let's just look it up real quick. Before we go there, let's go to Washington state demographics. Okay. And is this a verifiable? Yes, this is verifiable because this is a government site. I'm not sure what CHA stands for. I want to know. Census. I don't know about us. Commission on Hispanic Affairs. There you go. And see, through this process, we learn more and more and more. And it's so enlightening. And I'm along with you on this journey of learning. As I continue to say over and over again, I will be the first one to tell you that I do not know everything. That which I know, I know. But that which I don't know, we are learning together. And this may be something that you know. And I am delighted that you do. And maybe you can chime in and add some input for, in the comments and enlighten us all on Washington State and Hispanic affairs, because I know nothing about this. So this is interesting. And this seems very progressive. Albeit for the Hispanic population that is there and wanting that representation. And evidently the state is working with them because it is a government entity. I'm loving this. So right there, I get to delightfully eat crow. And that's another thing. Please understand that we all do have implicit bias. We do. But the goal in your life should be to turn the dial of implicit bias down and turn up your heart and your mind to openness and inclusivity, right? So you may have that implicit bias based on what, your environmental factors as you were raised, but it doesn't mean that you have to move about your life and display those implicit biases and use those implicit biases like a weapon against people. That's what you shouldn't be doing. You should look for opportunities to prove your own implicit biases wrong. Hello. That's the goal. We all have implicit bias, albeit against gender, albeit against race, albeit against region, religion, political affiliation. We all have those, and we've discussed those, some of them specifically, actually all of them at this point, in this platform. Again, and I'm going to repeat because I feel like it's necessary to repeat this, and I'm going to stop sharing just so you see how serious how serious I am. You see, I'm getting stumbled over my words because it's just that serious. Our environmental factors result in implicit biases that we assume as our belief system, even albeit minimally. But as you go through life, you should turn down the dial of implicit bias and turn up the dial of openness and exclusivity. Not exclusivity, inclusivity, inclusion, so that you can actually grow therefrom. All right. Okay, so let me get back to, here we go. So we're already learning. The Washington State Commission on Hispanic Affairs. Wow. The commission, and we'll get to the other demographics, but this is very interesting. Remember, this is how we run this this platform. It is a deliberate discovery effort together. The Commission on Hispanic Affairs strives to improve public policy development and the delivery of government services to the Hispanic community. Wow. The Washington State Commission on Hispanic Affairs, CHA, or the commission, was created by a governor's executive order. Look at there. See, again, I am eating crow lovingly. Yay. Was created by a governor's executive order and established in statute. This was 1971. I would not have even, many years ago, I would not have even assumed that, again, because of the implicit biases that we have. This is why this platform is so important, because we're taking a deeper dive into the states and their political culture, which is a representation of their culture as a whole, right? Is it ethnically diverse? Are they inclusive? Oh, wow. Awesome. So this was done in 1971. I don't know how, effective it's been, or, we're going to just learn just a little bit more. As mandated by the state legislature, the commission's functions are to improve public policy development and delivery of government services to the Hispanic community through the following means: identifying and defining issues concerning the rights and needs of Washington state, Hispanic community; advising the governor and state agencies on the development of relevant policies, plans, and programs that affect Hispanics; advising the legislature on issues of concern to the state's Hispanic community; and establishing relationships with state agencies, local governments, and members of the private sector. Okay, so I'm going to say this one thing. From my work with the Latino community, I have always understood that Hispanic is an outdated and no longer preferred term, and that it has a negative connotation, much like Negro or colored for the African Americans, of course, like myself. If you are Hispanic and you're watching this channel, please, or Latino, because that's how I would refer to you if I weren't familiar with your specific origin, okay? Because again, much like Asia, everyone of Asian descent is not from China or not from Japan. And equally, everyone who is of Latin descent is not from Mexico or Puerto Rico. There's, a lot of diversity there, like endless, Salvador, Honduras, Dominican Republic, it just goes on and on and on, okay? Interesting. This is very, very interesting. Wow. The official creation of CHA was part of a larger history of the Chicano movement that peaked in Washington in the late 60s and early 70s. And that kind of makes sense. Some of you are fully aware that I worked as a federal ranger with the National Park Service, so this Department of Interior, and I worked at border parks. And so of those parks, I worked at Organ Pipe Cactus National Monument, which is on the border of Mexico and Arizona. And there is a huge misconception, number one. There is travel permitted both ways. So if you are an American citizen and you want to travel into Mexico, you can do so without a passport up to 100 miles. I'm not sure if there has been legislation to change that. Since I worked there, I'm not sure. I believe it should be the same, or there should be an equivalent to that. And equally, someone who is a resident of Mexico, the entire landmass, right? Okay, so because there are detachments, you got North America, South America, right? So South America, then you have Mexico. So all of South America, we know our geography, right? So you can actually travel in. So it's not just, as I understand, it's not just Mexico, but the South American continent, right? You can travel into the United States 100 miles. That's why, well, that'll be a discussion for another time. That's why I thought that the building of the wall was just absolutely hilarious. Aside from the fact that generally, if someone is in a position where they have had to resort to escaping the economic demise of their home into a region where they believe that they can attain economic stability, I don't think that the wall is really going to matter all that much. It doesn't seem that the vastness of the oceans have mattered that much. So why would a wall? Okay. I guess maybe if that wall had velociraptors behind it, maybe because Border Patrol and Rangers, federal Rangers like myself, we are not, by any stretch of the imagination, we are not authorized to take their life, to approach them, and presume that they're all deadly and, all dangerous. No, it couldn't be farther from the truth. Now, there may be some one-off situations where, of course, there has been mistreatment. That did not happen at Oregon Pipe Cactus National Monument that I saw. While I was working there, I can tell you what I saw with my own eyes, and they were very, very by the book, very, very humane. We made very, very deliberate efforts. I won't go into great detail. We'll cover, some of those aspects at another time, but I want to get through all the states as well. But I can reassure you, even so much as specifically firsthand knowledge, having on the very first day of my assignment at Oregon Pipe Cactus National Monument, actually it was before, I was driving in. I happened to be using another Ranger's vehicle that day. And I was driving in to meet with my superintendent to be briefed, right? This is like first day on the job, got on my uniform, ready to go, right? And I encountered a young teenage girl who was pregnant and her father, and they were hiding behind a cactus. And you notice that I kind of grin when I say this, not because I'm grinning about the fact that I encountered them. I grin because I'm from North Carolina. And so here I am, this beautiful Black girl with my little fro in Arizona. And my first experience is seeing, people hide behind a cacti, or hiding behind cacti. And I couldn't even imagine that cacti would be that substantial that someone could hide behind it, let alone two people hide behind it. And so that's why I'm giggling, because it was a new experience, and it was astonishing just to see how sizable, like, they are. When you see that, like, I took pictures with them and I look like a little, like a figurine compared to them. And most of you who are following me now, I hope that I have more and more new people, as we go along, and we know that takes time, so it's okay. But those of you who know me, or you have been following me for quite some time, I believe you know that I'm rather tall. So I'm 5'9", and I'm 165 pounds, give or take. So I fluctuate 160, and I'm basically probably 10-15% fat. So like I have a substantial presence. So it was very interesting to just, to stand behind stand beside cactus and realize, like, wow, like, okay, so as a North Carolinian, I didn't even conceptualize that it would be that way. Nonetheless, I took Spanish in high school. I also deliberately took Spanish for conversation in college as well, and it was intentionally for, my career interests, and that served me well. So I was able to communicate with them, and I put them in the truck, and I took them to the superintendent's office, and because I didn't know yet how to handle the situation, I did presume safety based on the conversation I had with them. And I am also trained. So I believe that I didn't put myself in any type of risk, nor were they in any type of way violent. Very, very sweet young lady, very, very compassionate father. And so, we care for them, and it was very nice to see my superintendent, his demeanor toward them. And it continues, because if you are familiar with a park site and how the inner workings of it, administrative and otherwise, and yes, there's a law enforcement aspect of it, but it's very, very transparent. it's difficult for it not to be transparent based on the close quarters, if you will, of the park site and where the rangers live and where the border is and where the border patrol post is. And you know, it's just very transparent. So nonetheless, the point that I'm making is that some of the things that we hear from, and unfortunately, from the divisive or divisive Republicans that intend to fuel that misinformation, it is indeed disinformation. Alternatively, I've not been at the border for quite some time, and I do believe that there has been an issue with properly responding and addressing the needs of those who are taking refuge in America now, you know, from South America. And I believe that there needs to be some great change in that regard. So it makes a lot of sense. What I'm getting at is that there would have been an influx in the 60s and 70s because in all truth, and I used to say this all the time, I'm not really sure, you know, I would have thought that they would have, you know, passed this along similarly to folklore, that you don't need a passport, you don't need to sneak into the United States. You can actually literally from South America just drive your 100 miles and keep right on. Right? Okay. I'm not trying to like, this is not how to assume American status. Like, no, how to fool the border? No. Okay. All right, let's get serious. But the point I'm making here is that this is interesting in the best possible way. All right, let's go on to not Genesis Design Company. Look, I just want you to see that, huh? I really don't. You can see it, but you know, it's not secret information, but I do want to stay on task here. Okay, so we're going to go over to the legislature website for the state of Washington. Oh, and that's what we were doing. Hold on. Excuse me, we're looking for the demographics. I guess we have to go. I want to do Seattle, Washington. I want to do the whole state. It's not. Interstate, Washington. Okay, fact. Population, demographics. Okay, let's just see white alone. It's not giving us. Well, there's Washington. I see that. Why is it not giving me what I want? I think it did. Let's see. All right, population characteristics. Huge veterans population. Yeah, I'm confused by this one here. Make sure I'm getting everything I need here. Okay, let's go this way. Let's try a different way. One more time. Washington, United States. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so it is 76.3% Caucasian, 13.4% Black or African American, 1.3% American Indian, Alaskan Native, and 5.9% Asian, 0.2% Native Hawaiian and other Pacific Islander, 18%, well, this seems, something's not right. Interesting. But a huge veteran population. This is interesting because, of course, in order to have these percentages, it needs to add up to 100. And this clearly adds up to more than 100. So I'm thinking here, yeah, I'm not really sure. Okay, but my surmise was accurate, that it is predominantly Caucasian. All right, so now let's move forward to, this is going to be the funniest thing because people are going to, let me close that as a matter of fact. Because when people see this, they're going to say, what in the world is that? Nonetheless, like they're going to say that I'm trying to cross market. I really am not. That is, I do a lot of cross marketing, but this is not intentional. Okay. Ooh, it's good tea. Good tea. Good tea. All right, let me grab some of this too. Okay, here we go. All right, so the green and yellow, I wonder what the significance of that is. Let's see. No, not that. Traffic signal. Let's look at the flag. Flag. There we go. Yep, green, yellow. Okay, there we have the significance of the green and yellow. It's known as the evergreen state. And so the green in the flag represents the field of green. Well, there we go. All right, Washington also has the only state flag displaying an image of an actual person, George Washington, our first president. The official flag of the state of Washington shall be of dark green silk or bunting and shall bear in its center a reproduction of the seal of the state of Washington, embroidered, printed, painted, or stamped thereon. The edges of the flag may or may not be fringed. If a fringe is used, the same shall be of gold or yellow color of the same shade as the seal. Interesting, the dimensions of the flag may vary. Very interesting. Okay, so let's go back now here. No. Here we go again. Okay. All right, so House of Representatives. And it, I just noticed this too. It's just a coincidence that I wore green today. Hey, I'm working in my purpose. So when you work in your purpose, everything just lines up. There's alignment. Green nails and everything, honey. Okay. All right. So let's see our representatives. Okay. All right. So last time we counted with Republicans, we're going to start with Democrats today. All right. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. That's a good thing. So it tells you, so remember everything that we've been learning. So we've got a majority whip who's a Democrat. So it tells us that there should be a Democratic majority, right? And a majority whip, or the assistant majority whip, and then the deputy majority whip, and then the majority whip are all Democrats. So we have majority Democrat in the state of Washington. I don't know where I was, 33 or something like that, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 51. All right. Now, the only state that we've had that actually gives us the number of representatives up front was where? Where I definitely have some bias, but it's a positive bias, is California, right? They gave us the numbers right off the bat, 31 and 9 or something to that effect. All right, so we've got like 50 some Democrats, and we can tell that that's the majority based on if you were kind of keeping up with looking at the list, but we'll go through and we'll count the Republicans really quickly here. It would be nice if there was already a tally, then we could just subtract, process of elimination, and then we know exactly or have the estimate, because I remember I got off on my counting for the Republicans. Here we go. Nonetheless, we'll count 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yep, see, minority, deputy, minority whip. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. Wow, it seemed like I ran through 100 folks. 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44. So it's not that big of a difference. It's only seemingly about 7 representatives difference between the Democrats and the Republicans, but the Republicans nonetheless, the Democrats nonetheless are the majority in the state of Washington. So that also is a point where I would have to eat crow, and gladly so, because I would not have believed that Washington state would be a Democratic majority. I wouldn't. That's just my truth. Just based on, regional stereotypes that we have, and we all have them generally, even if we don't operate with them. Like, I would not use that presumption, that assumption, that implicit bias that I have for regions in some type of weaponized fashion or to discriminate. But I would, if someone asked me, do you think it's Democratic or Republican? I would say Republican. I would definitely say Republican. So I'm glad to learn that it is a majority Democratic state. Okay. Let's just look at some of the committees. And then I noticed one gentleman who was really kind of stood out to me. He looks young. I don't know if you saw him, but we're going to go back. And I want to just take a look at that. I'm highlighting these individuals that, and we're having to use our senses. And unfortunately, again, sometimes they are related to implicit bias. Some of them have truth in them. And as a matter of fact, let's just make sure we have this understood, okay? Stereotypes are not necessarily bad alone. Stereotypes are bad when weaponized. Remember? So we'll say that over and over again. The same thing with implicit bias. Unconscious favoritism toward or prejudice against people of a particular race, gender, etc., that influences one's actions or perceptions. Got it? I know that these are trigger words, and I know that none of us wants to admit to having implicit bias. We all have implicit biases based on our environmental factors and experiences throughout our life. Okay. We don't like to think of it as a prejudice or as strong as favoritism. Sometimes they are neutral, but they are still yet presumptions and perceptions, you see? And they influence how we interact with individuals for whom we have an implicit bias, all right? Bias consists of attitudes, behaviors, and actions that are prejudiced in favor of or against one person or group compared to another. Even when these are contrary to one's conscious or declared beliefs. Do you understand? All right. So and this is why we have to be very careful to recognize them and then recalibrate so that, again, we turn down what? Turn down the dial on the implicit bias and turn up the dial on our open-mindedness and basically an adjustment, right? Relearn, unlearn an implicit bias and learn a truth about whomever it is that you're encountering, okay? Excuse me. All right. So in seeing the gentleman, because I'm using my eyes because I'm not there physically with him, he may be older. Some may look at me based on how I'm dressed one day or another day, and they may presume certain things about me. Okay, fine. The perceptions, unfortunately, are going to occur, but if you allow them to control your thought and how you interact with people, that's where the problem is going to occur. So I presume that he is younger, and I presume as a younger politician that he is a progressive. We see that he's already a Democrat and that he is bringing something positive to politics that we want to see that is, on par with our mission to implement a more perfect union. Okay. All right. So that presumption probably doesn't seem all that disdainful, but in all reality, it is still it's implicit, just based on characteristics, demographic, just racial or physical characteristics that we presume this person may be this way, but we need to learn more information, right? Okay. So the committees they have pretty standard: appropriations, capital budget, children, youth and families, civil rights and judiciary, college and workforce development, commerce and gaming, community and economic development, consumer. There we go. Make sure that's plugged in. Consumer and economic development. My charger was unplugged. Consumer protection and business, education, environment and energy. Let's see who's on that one. And then we'll head on over to 1, 2. I'm counting Democrats: 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Republicans: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Interesting. I wonder how that all works out. I would love to sit in on one of their meetings and see if it creates a gridlock, as we've seen when there is near the same amount of Republican representatives as Democratic representatives in our federal Congress, right? As opposed to your state legislature. It's just interesting. I wonder, if they're able to work well with one another. All right, so let's go back. And let me just show you who I was talking about, and then we'll come back to him. But we want to go ahead and go to the Senate as well. So there were several people who stood out, and of course, for obvious reasons. And I have absolutely no problem sharing my beloved bias and appreciation for my heritage. You should have at least a minimal bias for your own heritage, not so much as that you're putting it before anyone else, but it's of all the biases to have, it is definitely a healthier one to perpetrate, right? Okay, so, and that's another thing. Let me just go ahead and pull up that so that people know. So we make sure to use words correctly. I'm all about etymology, etymology. So you make something, continue indefinitely. Something typically an undesirable situation or an unfounded belief. So that's why I said minimally. So this is a perfect way to use this term, believing that, all my beautiful Black people are on the same page and we are all pro transformation and doing beautiful, positive things. Unfortunately, it is an unfounded belief that we all are on that same page, but I would like for that to be the case. And I would like for this bias, I would like to perpetuate this bias, do you see? To continue it indefinitely. Yeah, stick with me. Okay. All right. So let's go back. What did I do? Oh, okay. So this young lady, April Berg, but let me just show you particularly. I'm always interested in finding out more information about young representatives. And really of any ethnicity, but because I am African American and proudly so, then when I see young Black men, and young Black women, I'm excited. I'm initially thrilled. And again, it may be an unfounded belief that they are the good guys, because unfortunately there are those who look like me, look like us, and they do not have our best interest in mind. They actually cause further divide. But I'm hopeful that he is. So let's just take a very, very quick look. He's on the Committee of Public Safety, Appropriations, Community, and Economic Development. Okay, let's go to homepage. And he may not be as young as he looks. Jesse Johnson. Let's see, biography. Lifelong Federal Way resident and a graduate from the University of Washington with a Bachelor's of Arts in Political Science and a Master's of Education, the son of a Navy veteran and a commercial residential painter. Johnson was the youngest city council member in Federal Way history when he first took office at the age of 27. You see my point? Now he serves as one of the legislature's youngest members, where he works to help working families and seniors struggling with high costs, students looking for the right pathway to a good paying job, and families struggling with housing insecurity across the state. Looks like he's doing excellent things. So you already know what I'm about to do. You're not shocked. Why would you be shocked? Okay, so we're going to go over. And when I am learning more about people, I know the follow and the like tend to be equivalent in some regard. So I don't, I follow them until I learn more information. And then once I learn more information, I prefer, my stance is to give an informed like, as opposed to just this blind like. And I encourage you to do the same thing. That way you're vested in the process of learning, the process of taking accountability for your responsibility as a voter, being sure that you are sufficiently informed about those individuals who are on your ballot and beyond, right? Okay, because we can help him from a distance as well. Not to say that he needs our help, but if we're going to do this more perfect union and we want all the right people in place, then we can't just research our own respective states. We need to know what's going on across the nation. So when it's time to put someone in that role of president, that we actually can contribute to that from the onset, because we're paying attention to everything that is going on across our nation, as we should. Okay. And we should not just be, this passive you're just a passive voter. Okay, well, who they gonna give us? Who they gonna give us this year? This is who they're gonna give us. They're gonna give us this year. Okay, this is what they're gonna give us. So we're gonna sit and take it. We need to be more interactive and proactive in this process as voters. Okay. So I'm definitely following. You got to be crazy that I wouldn't. I can't even imagine that anyone would follow me and think I wouldn't follow him. I'm following him. That's done. I suggest you do the same and let's check him out. And if he is who he is, who we think he is, and who we think he is, based on the description right now, is that he is on the right side of justice. And if that's the case, then we want to support him all the way from North Carolina. All right? Okay. All right. So let's see. And this is everyone. This is not just those of you who look like me, who share my melanin, that we're going to support him. These are allies. If you're following me, now I know they're going to be trolls, they're always going to be trolls, but those of you who are watching my platform and, and deliberate about trying to figure out what I'm doing with this platform and interested equally in a more perfect union, like really just like the greater good of everybody, right? Then you should equally be doing the exact same thing, following all these individuals, checking out all the representatives who are on the right side of justice and getting behind them and showing them support from around the nation. This is how we can do and bring about the transformation that we seek. Boom. Okay, we got 5 minutes. Let me go on over here to, go ahead, Jesse. Go on, get it. All right, let's get over here. I would love to, I'll have to come back just like with the other gentleman. Oh, it's just so much. It's just wonderful. It's just, very, 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 very happy. Police tactics. You see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? Over in Washington, y'all wasn't even expecting this. Neither was I. That's the beauty of this learning. He has introduced HB 1054. You know what I am going? Hold on. I need this. Hold on. How do I do? Okay. So hold on. I'm going to post that one because that's, hold on. Let's go back really quickly. Let me take a note. So we got HB 1054. See, all we hear about, right, is in our local governments, right, that are introducing bills. We know that Ayanna Pressley introduced a bill that's still stagnant in the congressional floor, right, since June of last year. Remember, I pulled that up and I showed you, still nothing. We'll check on that in the next, let me write myself a note. I'll check on Ayanna's, we'll do that live in the next session and check on her bill, right? All right. He has introduced the bill, no committee yet, awaiting government approval, but he's introduced the bill and none of us know who he is, but he's over there. He's doing the damn thing. All right, let's go on over here. Go ahead, Jesse. All right, let's see. Go back. We have just enough time to do the Senate. But you see why this is so exciting. It's liberating. I want you to be liberated with me. I want you to be excited about this otherwise doomsday topic of politics, and I want you to be in it to win it. We can do this. We got this, people. We can be the best of ourselves. We can do that collectively. I know we can. Okay, so let's go to senators. All right. Woo. Okay, let's count really quickly. Let me see how many we got. So they got, yes, because it is a large state. It was what, 7 million in one area or something. I'd have to go back to the population. You remember, go back in the video, rewind. Okay, so let's count them. We said Democrats first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, same Senate as well, right? Majority caucus vice chair. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 28. All right, now Republicans, 1, 2. And I'm sorry if I'm going too fast, but come on, keep up with me now. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So 28 to 20, same, just about roughly the same difference in the House between the Democrats and Republicans as in the Senate, okay? All right, so let's look at their committees really quickly. I didn't see anyone that particularly stood out. Maybe Senator Mona Das. Yeah, and Manka Dhingra. Yeah, those two. But no one, well, yeah. Senator Tawena Nobles. And we do have a few more minutes. So yes, I would say maybe those three stood out the most. So we have a few minutes because I started just a little bit late to go over those really quickly, or kind of take a quick look into what they're doing, see if we can follow them as well. All right, let's go to committees really quickly. All right. Excuse me. Agriculture, water, natural resources and parks, makes sense. Behavioral health, I believe it was Dhingra that's on that committee that I saw, if you noticed with me. Business, financial services and trade, early learning and K-12, which is a big thing, kind of across, for state legislature across the nation. Environment, energy and technology, that's my jam. Let me see who's on that one real quick. Wait, did I? Maybe I did something wrong. I was trying to, committee members by committee. Let's see, maybe that way. Yeah, let's do it this way. Yeah, so Dhingra, and she's a chair. Interesting. Nobles, it was hers. I believe it was Tawena Nobles. I believe that was her last name. Interesting. Let's check. Yeah. So she's on it as well. That's very interesting. Okay, let's go to environment. Das. That's interesting. Gwen Lihas, and I know I'm butchering these names, so I apologize. But that's someone who I pointed out, Mona. So she's on environment, energy, and technology. Let's go to these three really quickly. And for whatever reason, something is also leading me here. Let me just go here really quickly. I don't know why. I'm going to trust it. Okay. I am proud and honored to represent 27th Legislative District. Let's go to biography. Okay, and the same. Okay, so she's been there 12 years. I understand the needs and concerns of families struggling to make ends meet. In the House, I work to increase education funding for all learners, healthcare for children, families, and the disabled. The work is not finished. I don't know why I am feeling the grab. I'm not sure why I am gravitating toward her. I'm not really sure. I was trying to pull out something. She's the oldest of 6 children in an Air Force family. My folks taught me scores of lessons, one of which centers on volunteerism. My volunteering started at Planned Parenthood, and there you go, in Bellingham, and continues today. She's been a big sister. Yeah. Okay. So let me see let's go to her Facebook. Let's follow her. No. It wants me to post. Oh, contact. Okay. Someone could help her in. Okay. connect. There we go. All right. Sorry, my bad. I was gonna say somebody could help her with that part of it, but she's got it. She's got it together. That's another time I ate crow really quickly, and I don't mind eating crow when it's on the positive side. Okay, so I'm gonna follow her. Very, very interesting. Okay, and then let's get on back really quickly. Jump over to Miss Das. Let's go to you. All right. Okay, gimme. Oh, and I do like this. So we've learned something off the bat, and I like this. We've not seen this consistency, this kind of uniformity. I think it's good. It's not so much as that it's stagnant. This is good. I like this a lot. It appears that they all have a similar kind of template for the representatives' individual homepages, their individual websites. And I like this. I like it a lot because it gives you everything so you can share. They've got that over here. Whoever their web designer, I'm loving the site. I love how it moves. I love the kind of flash elements. I love that it's modern. I love that you have all the information you need. You can like, share, connect. I like this. I like their template websites for their legislators. I think that should be copy pasted, from state to state. It doesn't necessarily have to be, the same color pattern and all that, but this is nice. I like the big picture initially. Tell me what you think in the comments. I think this is good. Okay, so let me get to her biography really quickly. I'm going to end at 5:10 today, just to, kind of round it out. Mona Das, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. If anyone knows her, or how to properly pronounce this particular apparently Indian name, then let me know. Born to Indian parents who immigrated to America's Rust Belt with only $6 in their pocket, yet full of hope about building a better life for their family. Mona came to the United States when she was 8 months old, spent her childhood moving around due to her father's job, living in 8 states and 3 countries. She finally settled down in Kent, where she currently lives, and of course serves as a representative. She graduated from University of Cincinnati. Interesting. Some of you know I used to live in Cincinnati with a bachelor's degree in psychology. Yeah, I'm feeling her. I was wondering if she was, science. Social science, which is very, very, psychology is very important to increasing public valuation for the physical sciences, the environmental sciences, to more specifically. This is good, very good, and earned an MBA in sustainable business from Pincot. I'm thinking that it's pronounced, with the silent T. University. She also attended the Women's Campaign School at Yale University. For 15 years, Mona has operated her own mortgage business, Moxie Money. She continues to work in the mortgage industry and volunteers as a fundraiser for various organizations. Awesome. Sustainable development, equal access to housing. Yeah, let me go on. I feel like right side of justice, friends, right side of justice. Okay, let's get over here and I feel like I can go ahead and like her. I'm doing that implicit bias thing. I feel like, okay, that's my friend. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to follow, and then I will learn more. Okay. You see how those implicit biases come through? We do them in everyday life, because sometimes when we hear these words, we turn off our listening ears and we turn on our defense mode. And instead of just realizing, okay, words have a definition. Let me approach them objectively until, if there's the energy behind them that then corroborates your concerns about it being more prejudicial than it is just this, this perception, this implicit bias without the evil behind it, without it being weaponized. But if you are able to determine that it's being weaponized, then, handle yourself accordingly. Okay. All right. So let's go back really quickly, 2 minutes, and we're going to go to the other young lady. Dinger really quick. Follow her. We'll spend a minute on both of them because of the time. Okay. domestic violence, sexual assault, preventing firearm violence, providing property tax relief for seniors and people with disabilities, prosecuting financial fraud, and reforming the criminal justice system with an evidence-based approach. Interesting. Okay, what was she? Prosecutor. And I know, and I'm gonna tell you, okay, so, and I don't mind sharing these things, okay? Because I do move about this world very, I have a strong spiritual discretion, if you will, discernment, okay? So when I first saw the picture, her picture here is not as piercing as this picture here. And we have to be mindful of those things. Even I have to do the same thing. This picture is not as piercing as well. So the first picture gave me the prosecutorial vibes. It did. It really did. Okay. It gave me not so much as hard. It didn't read good. And so that's interesting that she actually is a prosecutor, or was a prosecutor. All right. So let's keep going because we're at 509. But yeah, she brings 2 decades of experience. And I told you my biggest concern with prosecutors is that they work for the state. And so working for the state, they fight for the state because they're counsel for the state. So that means that when they're prosecuting crimes, right? And sometimes they don't have the empathy and the attachment to reality and attachment to pressing needs of certain communities. And so it can create great distance between them and the community at large, okay? So, but I'm gonna go ahead and just follow her and watch. But I do have my implicit bias concerns based on her previous position. And again, I will lovingly eat crow if I find out otherwise. So we just watch these things. These are it. So your discretion is not a bad thing. It's an internal discernment. You want to use it. It's necessary. But when you weaponize it blindly, that again, we know we got it. All right, 511. I've gone over, but hold on, because we have to cover Tawena Nobles. I wouldn't dare skip over that young lady. All right, let's go. And then we're off. All right, Tawena. And I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Boom. She looks young, but you know how we beautiful Black women are. But she does look young. She looks young. Okay, let's see. She is the first Black state senator to serve in a decade. We didn't hear about this. We didn't hear about this. This is the point that I'm making. We need to know these things across the nation. The nation, we are vested because we are United States citizens. It's our business. It's our business. Okay. She brings 2 decades of experience in education. I can see that. And community leadership to her role. I can see that. I feel I can see early learning and K-12 education commitment. I can see that. I can see that. She sits on transportation committee and the behavioral health subcommittee. Remember I said when I noticed that DOS does as well. Education has been central to her life. She attended Tacoma Community College, then transferred. She earned an undergraduate degree as well as her Master's of Arts in teaching. She then taught at the Stadium High School and Lincoln High School. I see this. I can see that. Do you see that? Tell me in the comments if you agree. She focused on equity, inclusion, and transparency. Oh yeah, that's a follow. I feel like I can like her too, but I'm just gonna follow and we'll go from there. So many congratulations if this ever reaches you. I just want to look you directly in your eye and say, you get it and you keep on going forward. You got this. All right. So let me hit this button here. Boom, boom, follow. Follow the people I follow. You know, I mean, this is not like, it's not the blind follow. It's not follow the leader. It's let's do this together. And you give me information that I need to know You know what I'm saying? And you vice versa. Okay, what did she do? Y'all, we did it. My first bill became a law. You see what I'm saying? SB 5184 establishes an on-site point of contact for students experiencing foster care. Oh my gosh. My points of contact were fundamental to my success when I went through the foster care. See? I like her. Okay. Typically in session, we would have watched over his shoulder as the governor signed this bill into law. While we don't have quite the same option in a mostly remote session, I know y'all are as excited as I am about this legislation. Okay, I'm liking the post. It doesn't sound like it's, I'm going to read the legislation. But it doesn't look like it's anything that's kind of like with an ulterior evil motive behind to, suppress, students who are, in the foster care system. I'm going to read it and I'm going to post a link as well on my Facebook and here, but I am definitely, boom, boom, you can consider this done. I'm going to share this. More options. Share it to my page. I'm sharing this now. Yes, I am. This is Senator, correct? Right? Yeah. Senator Tawana Nobles, the first Black senator in the state of Washington in a decade. Boom. I am sharing that. How about that? All right. So 5:15, I'm out, y'all. All right. Well. I know y'all probably think, wow, she just gets way too excited for this stuff. That's okay. You're going to get excited, equally excited as me. In time, you will. All right. So my name is Tigress Sydney Acute McDaniel, and this has been week 17 of how to implement a more perfect union. Evolve weekly. Uh-oh, I think I froze. I mean, I froze. Uh-oh. I think I froze. It froze.